In a story you'll only see on KCRA3, the California legislature has quietly spent millions of taxpayer dollars sending rocks to and from Italy for the Capitol Annex project. The Annex project is currently at the center of an environmental lawsuit, but a small group of people is making decisions to move forward with it anyway.
KCRA3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala has been digging into this for months now, and she's here today with what's going on with all these rocks.
Golston, the Capitol Annex is a large $1 billion project, and it has been years since the legislature actively updated the public on it. Now it's under even more scrutiny now as the state is strapped for cash with a budget shortfall in the tens of billions of dollars. That lawsuit is related to some environmental decisions about pieces of the project, but the legislature has been using that as an excuse to stay tight-lipped about how they're overall using your money. We've uncovered how some of that money is being used, and it's raising even more questions. Blocked from public view, California's billion-dollar Capitol Annex project is underway.
I would say that it is a project that is somewhat shrouded in mystery.
This is a large expenditure of taxpayer dollars for what is ultimately an important part of the People's House.
The future of the People's House being secretly determined by a small group inside the legislature known as the Joint Rules Committee. That group decided to quietly spend $5.2 million this year sending granite to and from Italy for stonework. The project began at this quarry in Raymond, California, where 2 million pounds of rocks were mined for the project. Then, those 2 million pounds shipped to Italy by boat. There in central Italy, a company called the Santucci Group is now finishing the stone that will go on the exterior of the first level of the eventual new Capitol Annex.
It does sound like a decision that certainly would raise some eyebrows.
Back in Sacramento, Dick Cowan is the former chairman of the State Historic Capitol Commission and has sued the legislature over the project. He's been questioning this particular piece of it.
Rather than doing that finish work here in America, where we certainly have the capability, or in California, which would be the best of all worlds.
But the Joint Rules Committee claims this is the cheapest way to get this done. In a statement, Leo Lopez, the chief administrative officer for the committee, said, "Unfortunately, there is not a facility in California that can perform this fabrication work. We considered a U.S.-based facility, but due to the complexity of the fabrication and time constraints, sending the granite to a U.S. facility would have significantly increased costs, which would have resulted in additional spending of taxpayer dollars." But Lopez and the committee won't prove it, refusing to provide KCRA3 with the other bids it received for the work.
I went to Assembly Rules.
I explained the situation to longtime lobbyist and McGeorge School of Law professor Chris McKaylee.
This is a request for information taxpayers are entitled to. Please send the bids to prove that this is the cheapest way to go. Sure. No answer.
They should provide some sort of documentation. I can understand sometimes that there are sensitivities related to the contents, all of the contents of a bid, but there's no reason why they can't provide some of the information.
Multiple sources who spoke to KCRA3 on the condition they remain anonymous said there is a fabricator in Central California that wanted to do it. Those sources said Italy may be the cheaper option because it does not have the same health, safety, and other labor standards that California and the United States expects.
I think it's hypocritical.
Sacramento County Assemblyman Josh Hoover said he had no idea about any of this.
Our state, on a number of different areas, requires certain things, requires certain standards, but then when the legislature itself wants to perform a project, they don't want to follow those standards.
For months, we have pressed the Joint Rules Committee for more information. In a statement this week, it said, "At the direction of Council, Joint Rules cannot discuss the Annex project beyond information disclosed pursuant to Legislative Open Records Act requests due to ongoing litigation. We know this is frustrating for the public and for journalists who are doing their best to provide accurate information to their readers and viewers. We are eager to share more about the project and hope that we can do this very soon."
Is that justification for deflecting, from not providing answers on this project?
The lawsuits in question, I think, are more regarded to the environmental impacts of the project. That really has nothing to do with the actual construction bids or any of the money that they've already spent on the projects. To me, those are two totally separate things. And so to blame lack of transparency on those lawsuits, I think, is disingenuous.
Now, as you heard from Assemblyman Hoover, it is not just the public being left in the dark about this. I've spent pretty much all afternoon on the phone with lawmakers from both parties, including those who sit on the Joint Rules Committee, who had no idea about any of this stonework. We have repeatedly asked who exactly made this decision and who exactly is making decisions moving forward. At this point, we cannot get a straight answer. I also reached out to Governor Newsom for comment on this, but have not heard back from him. Back to you.
All right. Well, we'll stay on the story with you, Ashley. Thank you so much for bringing that to light.